Back on Adapt and Respond with me, RJ Young. Thanks for being here. Talk college football year round. You're into that. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, like this video, and answer the question, comment below. Should Brent Key really want Georgia in the way that he seems to want Georgia? Brent Key reminds me of an old school Southern football coach. Just hearing him talk, hearing about how he goes about his business, seeing how much he loves the game and the physicality of the game. And then I say this often enough that you should probably believe me at this point. A football program takes on the identity of its head coach. If your head coach is one that airs the ball out and runs the score up, that's what the program's going to be about, right? If your head coach is kind of eats film, but also just wants to maul you, that's what your program's going to be about. Brent Key's Georgia Tech is the latter. They want your heart. They want your soul. They want to take it from you. And the easiest and the most effective way to take somebody's heart and soul and will to stay on that football field, to break them in half, is to run through their face. And Georgia Tech has been doing that for 3 years. Okay. Now, they made rings for going 7-6 last year. But when you take into account who they were able to knock off, 2 top 10 teams, and damn near took Georgia into a loss that probably, if nothing else, makes it real hard for them to make college football playoff with a loss in the SEC championship game. You can understand it. You can understand. They felt good about last year, and they should. They should feel good about last year, which means they should feel good about going in this year because they return a lunch. So Brent Key gets up and is asked almost out the gate, why is the Georgia Tech game that was supposed to be played in Atlanta, at Georgia Tech's home field in Atlanta, being moved to Mercedes-Benz in Atlanta? To which Brent Key says, that's way above my pay grade. Well, I mean, it might be, dog, but somebody wrote it down, and it's let me check. It says money. It says money right there. It says money. That's why they moved the game. Ain't above my pay grade. I just read it, because it's been widely reported, things like the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, national news media outlets. But I get it. You ain't trying to say that we should have had that game at Georgia Tech and that it's about, money. There it is. But what he did say, I felt him say with his whole chest, because after he said, push that aside, like I'm not going to talk about, there it is, money. What he said was, I could give a crap where we play. We can go home tonight and play them at Piedmont Park at 5 o'clock. I'm serious. He said it twice too. He's fired up. I don't care where we play them. I hate Georgia. You can feel it in his heart. In his heart. Woo! That man wanted that win last year. That man hates Georgia. And you know what? I would not expect anything less from somebody that absolutely positively rides for Georgia Tech. But it was nice to see. It was so nice to see, because historically that ain't been a game that Georgia Tech expects to win, right? But last year, going into Sanford, taking them to 8 overtimes, and damn near walking out with the W, would have been the first win at Sanford since October 2019. Yeah, I could see why he would say, no. Give us another shot. I want them bad. And I love that. I really do, because Brent Key wants to run the football, wants to prove that his team is a much more tough team than yours is. I mean, at Michigan, they be saying that smash stuff all the time, but Georgia Tech, they believe it. Like, that's what they ride or die for. And one of the reasons that they get to do that is the quarterback. Brent Key loves him some Haynes King. I love me some Haynes King. Dude from Longview, Texas. Real hard for me not to like somebody from East Texas, okay? There's some people in there that I don't like from East Texas, and that's a conversation for another day. But in as far as attitude and mood and get down, they from around the way, as far as I'm concerned. And Haynes King is one of those dudes. 50-second 400-meter sprinter. It's pretty fast in high school. It's not fast in the world, but it's fast as hell. I should say that. And it showed, because there was a game that they played 2023. It was their bowl game against Central Florida. They win that game 30-17. He rushed for 128 yards on 18 carries. Didn't throw for more than 87. I think he had a TD and a pick in that game too, like 9 or 13. But Brent Key told a story about Haynes King and his football team to basically underline what kind of a leader he thinks he has at quarterback. Apparently, Haynes King had an opportunity to break 4 single-season passing records at Georgia Tech, and he was very, very close to hitting each one of those marks. And as the game came into hand in the second half, Buster Faulkner, offensive coordinator, would ask Haynes, what do you want to do? He said, run the ball, run the ball, run the ball. And he kept saying it. So much so that Georgia Tech finished that game with 27 straight rushes. Now, Brent Key tells that as a way of saying putting himself above the team, which is what you want. Excuse me, putting the team above yourself, my bad. Putting yourself below the team. Whatever's best for the team is what you want. And in that game, the easiest way for them to go make sure that they were going to win it was to continue to try to snatch souls at the line of scrimmage. And it's easier to do that halfway through the third quarter and into the fourth quarter running the football. It's easy to score points throwing the ball. And you know what? Throwing the ball late in the game has proven to be a way for you to lose a game that you should probably walk out with a W by 2 touchdowns, right? Put the ball in the air, not just because somebody else picked it off, but because maybe you scored and gave the ball back to somebody that shouldn't have the ball. If you can keep the ball and you got the lead, there's no reason for you to give it back unless you absolutely have to. And that's called 4th down and long. Okay. I think we're also talking about a Haynes King that understands the identity of the football team is built around Brent Key's identity. And Brent Key's identity is we want to hurt you at the line of scrimmage. We want that fight. We want trench warfare. We want fast hands. We want kung fu. We want it all up there. That's where we think we can win a game. That's what they did against Florida State. Snatched their soul at the line of scrimmage. That $12 million defense, that $2 million defensive line. Took it straight from them. Knowing that, I hope Robert Livingston has that defense ready for what they're going to face week 1 when they play Georgia Tech. Brent Key was asked, so they got a new quarterback. Caden Salter's coming from Liberty. Are you watching more Colorado film? Are you watching more Liberty film? How are you preparing for that game? To which Brent Key says, I'm probably the wrong person to ask this question to because I watch a lot of film. And then the man proceeded to tell us he does watch a lot of film. Brent Key has watched the last 2 seasons of Colorado football all the way through twice. July. He said he's also 3/4 of the way through all of the games that their transfers have played. Man eats the film, chews the film. He expects the same thing from his coordinators, from his assistants. They will be prepared for everything that Colorado has ever done and might want to do offensively and defensively. That's football coach. It's football coach. Some guys are just built to sit in a dark room with a projector and a remote and take apart your tendencies. Take apart your tendencies, how often you want to be in this package, what this means, downs and distance, all of it. And if you watch it twice through, especially if you got the mind of a quarterback, there are things that you just see that you can immediately clock. And that's poker. That's what that is. Oh, I know what to do here. That's chess. I know what to do here. I've seen this look. I'm going to get us into this or I'm going to get it out of this. I love that. You got that from the head coach. That's all the way down. Again, taking on the identity of your program. As they prepare for what will be a game of 2 early 1990s national champions, I'm going to be curious to find out just how much of that can translate to the football field. Because it's one thing for Brent Key to do all of this. It's another thing for them to be able to execute it, right? I say this often. If I know what you're running, yeah, maybe I could stop it. You know, if you're telling me you run ISO, cool. I know how to fill. I know where the safety needs to be. I know where the linebacker needs to be. But there's something to be said about knowing what's coming at you and not being able to do a damn thing about it. Let's see which one of these programs is that team. Because Brent Key also said this, and I believe it. Your first game is always, can you execute your offense, your defense, your special teams with fewest amount of mistakes? Everybody's going to be new. We haven't really got to hit anybody other than each other for almost 8 months. And they've been watching us too. Again, respect for your opponent. Believe that they might know something about you. Do some self-scouting. I am going to be very excited about this game because, Prime back on the sideline, Caden Salter gives them an added run dimension that they haven't had with Shedeur Sanders, and Robert Livingston's defense has progressed and gotten better each and every year. If they can run the damn ball at Colorado, they might actually have a shot here. But here's the thing. Georgia Tech doesn't give you a lot of opportunities to hold the ball because they run the ball so well. So you're going to have to be surgical with each one of the possessions you get. I would not count on more than 8. If you can't get to 35, which means scoring touchdowns 5 times out of those 8 opportunities, it's going to be a long day for you against Georgia Tech. If you can score 4 touchdowns on those 8 drives, maybe if your defense is playing great. But again, that is the problem with playing a team like Georgia Tech and playing from behind. As long as Georgia Tech can hold serve, you got a shot. If you're Georgia Tech. If Georgia Tech falls behind, 2 touchdowns, you sit on the rock. Okay? Goes like that. That's what you're going to see. A lot of this is just playing EA Sports College Football 25 or 26, now. And you'll see some of these things. But if you've been playing football since you were a child, you know how this works. So does Brent Key. So I can't wait to see where they win the margins or who wins the margins in this game. It's going to be a lot of fun. Come back. Let's go through the odds to make the college football playoff among Big Ten teams. Talk about teams that are listed here and why I think only 1 or 2 of these teams should probably be considered as, something like a surprise.